Hey, Walking Dead heads, this is Dylan, and 1 second, and I will have Quin's mic up. There we are. Okay.
Oh, I'm Quin.
Yep. Thank you for joining us for the Broken Dead today. We are talking The Walking Dead for the season 11 premiere, and we've got some news, teasers, and speculation about what's to come for you. This is The Broken Dead, and we've already done the intro, so hey, what the hell? Let's do it again. There we are. Okay. It's been so long since we've done this show. I forgot how we do it. By the way, so I'm Dylan.
I'm Quin.
And once again, thanks for joining us today. If you're new to the show or returning after so long, we're glad to have you guys along for the ride, and I hope that you will join us live every Sunday for the next several episodes, live on YouTube, Facebook, now on Twitch, every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
So that you know when we drop a new video or when we go live. And podcast listeners, I have not forgotten about you. I promise. I have not updated the podcast a little bit of time, but it's on my mind, and yeah, so yeah. Don't forget to check out the website at www.broken.pictures.com.
Yes. No.
Said
no.com.
Yep. So a couple special notes. Happy season 11 premiere. Typically the seasons usually start about Halloween, so I mean it's Halloween season. I mean, we get an early Halloween this year. Never thought we'd actually be here after the year and a half since season 10 ended officially, and but it's been April 2020 since we have talked about The Walking Dead on this show, and just through personal challenges and a global pandemic and other complications, we didn't come back for the extra episodes. Usually the seasons stop at 16. Season 10 had some bonus episodes, went all the way to 22, and so we're back here with a vengeance to see through to the end, baby. So
yes.
Stay healthy. Speaking of pandemics, stay healthy, get vaccinated, mask up, and be careful, be safe. I am fresh off of my own COVID-19 quarantine isolation because I caught it. I'm fully vaccinated, everything, and I'm pretty sure it was Delta. So if I start hacking or coughing or get a little COVID brain in the middle of it and kind of space out, or get my energy level takes a dive, just bear with me. I've got some energy water right here, so just kind of help out. So Quin, I guess that's you, my man.
All right. Well, it's that time of the show. Whoop, 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 whoop. I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Okay. All right.
Special effects for us?
Hit. You hit the special effects. I hit the wrong button on my phone. All right. And 3, 2, 1. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is your spoiler alert. It's the only one you're gonna get. And in this episode of The Broken Dead, we are talking about episode, I was about to say 11, but episode 1 of season 11 of The Walking Dead. If you haven't watched that, pause this, go watch that, then come back. You have been warned.
Yeah. And I apologize for the effect. I moved the shape of the thing for this season, and I did not make sure the effect covered the screen all the way. So it was kind of janky. But I'll have it fixed by next week, I promise. So yes, like Quinn said, you have been warned. Ooh, are we drinking adult drinks over there, Quinn?
Yes, it's an adult drink.
Are we?
Yes.
Oh, it's official now. Man, I almost poured some Hennessy and vanilla Coke. I wish I had, but
That
I
doesn't
can't really
sound
taste a whole lot
appetizing.
right now, so I don't want to waste it.
I
What'd you say?
understand. So it doesn't sound appetizing. I think it's
What?
because
Hennessy?
I don't like vanilla drink. I don't like vanilla cokes.
Oh, okay. I love
Yeah.
vanilla Coke, man. And it just, it.
Where'd you go? Wait, what happened? I'm looking at the thing. Where'd you go? Hello? Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. There's a zombie over there. Hello? Oh wait, he's moving. I see him moving. Well, Dylan's. Wait, what's that black smudge? Did Dylan get eaten? No, it's a shirt. Alright. While we're waiting. Um,
I'm sorry about that. I keep flicking this thing. I got to keep it out of my reach because every time I open it, it syncs back to my phone instead of the computer. I'm putting it way over
oh.
there, out of my reach. If you hear clicking in the background, just say stop it. Otherwise, I'm gonna mess it up.
It's all good.
Anyways, I'm sorry. What were you saying while we were waiting? What is that?
I'll just. It's I got it with some sunglasses that I bought. It's for cleaning them.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Looks very tropical. Like your drink.
They're like my drink. What is this?
Yeah,
Maui
like in the
Gin?
fruity drink.
Yes. Well, this is what? I don't know. It's gin, sweet and sour, and something that starts with a G. And then I just shook it and put it into a drink, put it into a glass, and then topped it with club soda.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Very nice. Since you don't
Yeah.
have to drive home tonight.
Since I don't have to drive home.
Blam home.
Yes. All right.
All
But
right.
yes,
So, what were you gonna say?
you say it because we were gonna say the same thing.
Oh, and onto the Walking Dead universe news. So this is the part where we cover the Walking Dead universe in general because we are dealing with a Walking Dead universe now and not just Walking Dead. Even though the show is about the Walking Dead Prime, Walking Dead is about it's a universe now. We've got Fear the Walking Dead and The World Beyond, and now we've got a spinoff coming. And probably some other things in the works. So this season will be a full 24 episodes, airing in a 3-part format. The final season trilogy is what they're calling it, and it's the beginning of the end. Each part is 8 episodes long, and being 8 times 3, 24. So AMC is releasing each episode a week early on AMC Plus. But the regular show schedule will continue to be on the TV channel tonight. So if you got AMC Plus, you've had access to this episode for a week already. And then episode 2 became available today. It's kind of confusing for people like us where it's okay, so we want to respect the TV audience and not spoil anything. Like Quinn and I haven't watched episode 2 yet because we want to, yet there are still a lot of people out there who have, and there are people on YouTube and out there on the interwebs that are already spoiling season 2 and talking about season 2, and it's just it's a weird thing. I'm not sure why they did that. Like I get it a couple days early, like they did last time, but a full week early just kind of throws the whole thing into this weird where are we type thing. Like The Talking Dead tonight was right after episode 1, and it was all about episode 1. So as of right now, we're going to follow that format and just respect the TV airing time. and that is when things are happening.
Yes.
So, but if things change, if whatever, we're just going to kind of play it by ear and see where things play out with this. But we're going to not talk about episode 2 in this episode. So we're talking about episode 1. All right. So next in the Walking Dead news, the Rick Grimes movies. If you remember, it was originally announced by former showrunner, and now chief content officer for the Walking Dead universe, Scott Gimple, announced in late 2018, almost 4 years ago, that we were getting a Rick made-for-TV movie trilogy airing on AMC, and it would be exclusive to AMC and all this kind of stuff. But then, mid-2019, about 6 to 8 months later, they kind of updated us and was like, okay, well, Skybound, which is Robert Kirkman's company, the creator of the Walking Dead comics, right? And AMC partnered with Universal Pictures to make them available only in theaters, and we got a teaser at Comic-Con that year.
Did we?
Yeah, it was such a weird, like kind of vague, like this helicopter flew in and it said the Rick trilogy.
Oh yeah.
You know, in theaters only or something like that. It was like the vaguest of just little. They just wanted something visual to kind of tack onto it, and that's really the only like updates we've gotten. And even like it was still kind of up in the air. It's like, okay, is it still going to be a trilogy? Is it only going to be one movie now? Is Andrew Lincoln still even interested? Is the audience even still interested? Obviously so. There's still a lot of questions and people asking about it. So last month at San Diego Comic-Con, Robert Kirkman and even more recently, executive producer Gail Ann Hurd gave us another update, basically saying that there's a lot riding on this and they're just trying to make sure that it gets done well. And because, I mean, it's easy to get real critical about it because it has been 4 years since they announced it, and you would assume when they're announcing something that they've been developing it, that it's been in development, and they're working on it, right? Instead of just like, oh, hey, we got an idea, let's tell everybody, which it seems like what happened almost. But I mean, a lot of that time has been shaking up of showrunners and a pandemic in the middle of it where a lot of people couldn't work, a lot of people were separate, even though we did have video calls and they could still kind of work like that. I don't know, but so yeah, and then announcing new shows and show running other shows and basically like fleshing out this fully realized universe. And like if I take a step, like on the surface, it's really frustrating that they're kind of dragging their feet on this. But if I take a step back and think about it, it's like, and that's basically what they're saying is like, okay, well, you guys are going to be glad that we're taking our time and making sure that this is right. And this is Ghost, by the way, if you guys remember Ghost, a dog, he says hi.
Hello, Ghost.
So, if you think about it, like if you look at it as far as like DC versus Marvel, as far as like building extended universes, you've got what works and what doesn't. To be honest with you, and I'm not trying to knock DC, but I don't think that's knocking DC at all. I think it's knocking the leadership, Warner Brothers, who have mishandled the DC universe. Because they tried to put the cart before the horse and got excited and they just tried to do it and get it done, and it really just kind of like it tripped over itself. Really, it just hasn't really worked, and it's been up in the air and it's confusing for fans, and things are connected, things are not. Like, what is happening? And so I think, and so even like Kevin Feige is known for being very meticulous about universe building and world building in the MCU, and like even to this day where we're in a whole new phase and they've kind of closed off the whole Infinity Saga thing, and they're like, people are asking him, okay, well, what about the new Avengers? When are we going to see that? And it's like, well, we've got to take our time and build these characters up and get the audience familiar with them and who they are and tell their stories before we even think about that. So like, I think that's kind of the approach that they're trying to take in just, okay, let's make sure that this is a story worth telling. and that we don't just get out there and
do something.
Yeah, exactly. Get out there and not plan it correctly and just kind of trip over ourselves. Because it could be very easy to do. It's like, and it's almost like they kind of did that with like the World Beyond. It's like, okay, to be honest with you, I've only watched the pilot of the World Beyond, and it's kind of like, okay, well, why is this show necessary? I don't know, but I kind of feel that way about Fear too. But
Yeah.
But I mean, if they want to build a universe, take your time to do it right. So I respect that, and I get it. So then there's the Carol and Daryl spinoff. So over the past year, we found out that The Walking Dead Prime is in its last season, and originally the Daryl Carol spinoff was supposed to be it was supposed to branch off of the main show, and they just kind of go on their own adventures and come back and like kind of check in and stuff like that, and still like the tent pole was still there with the main show, but now that the main show is ending, this is going to be like something completely different, and they're saying. And even Norman Reedus was surprised about that because he was expecting it to kind of be supported by the main show. Excuse me.
Okay.
So recently, some people, I think online, people were asking him about it, and he said that what would the show, or they were asking him what the show would be, what it would look like, all that kind of stuff, and he said that. It's not going to look like an episode of The Walking Dead. It's not going to look anything like that. They're going in a completely different direction. He said, quote, "It's a show about hope. It's not two groups fighting for territory or something like that. It's she and I on the road, seeing who is left out in the world, and it opens up a lot of possibilities." And we kind of saw the seeds of that in the bonus episodes where Daryl and Carol were talking about just kind of jumping on the bike and going into Mexico and seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
So they're kind of building towards that, and kind of figure out like what that means for The Walking Dead, and is there anybody left? Why are they leaving? You know what I mean? They have to have a compelling reason to leave.
Yes.
So then, go ahead.
I think this season's going to give them that reason. Because, Alexandria, I think it's going to be like a thing of there's nobody else left to fight. And they're going to enter in a time of peace. True peace.
So, like, they're at Alexandria or Commonwealth and everything's taken care of. Maybe Maggie is running everything and everything's peaceful now.
Yeah.
Because, like, why would Daryl leave Judith? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless he plans to come back, or is Judith dead? Who knows at this point? Is everybody dead?
Out
and that's why they're leaving.
In 22 episodes, I guess.
24.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's a lot of episodes. So Scott Gimple said that it would be a stripped down spinoff with a lighter tone, and there would be a great deal about discovery, a new world, a new tone, a new frontier of story and purpose, all while carrying the lessons learned from the people who have made up their apocalypse family and their hard-won victories and painful losses. And Angela Kang will be the showrunner for that show, and it's scheduled to air in 2023. So it seems like they're kind of jumping off and letting that kind of be like almost like the makeshift Prime after that.
Yeah.
The Prime characters, which I don't know, man. So far they've kind of let Daryl step into Rick's shoes, and it's worked so far. Or has it?
It has, I think. It's a complete. The Walking Dead now is different from The Walking Dead 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been, and it's
so different.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a completely different show.
Yeah, I think even with Angela King taking over, and just so even like as soon as she took over, the intro changed from this gritty realism thing to this like almost comic inspired, uh, uh, just kind of
Flashes,
yeah, like these little flashes,
panels.
and it's stylistically, it's completely different. It's this
Yeah.
very, very stylized approach, almost with like, I mean, like the World Beyond, you got like these bright colors and this, it's completely different thing. It's almost like this Riverdale version. It's morphed into, you know what I mean? But
Riverdale and zombies. Hilarious.
yeah, so I really hope that they don't go that direction with it.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, though. All right.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people are really they're still doing the horror thing, but it's almost I don't know. It's a completely different. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know what to call it
it's
with the bright colors and I don't know a
uh
lighter tone. Like we're gonna joke because it's okay. We know how to handle zombies now. I don't know.
I I think it would be called, I don't know. There's not a tween horror genre.
Twilight.
Horror?
God no. God help us all if they go the Twilight route and make things bright and colorful and angsty instead of gritty realism that we all have grown to appreciate.
Yeah. But I think gritty realism works for majority adults and like a few kids here and there. Because gritty realism for kids means kids are gonna die. And and
Yeah.
then they're gonna look at the flowers and then die. Or get shot in the eye and then die.
Which were
It
some of the
gritty
best episodes.
So gritty realism means kids die, and so I think they want it can get there. Like it can start off this, and that can be the journey itself. It's like it's starting off as like this kind of obscure look to everything because we know how the world has been because we've been watching this group for so long, and then these teenagers go out into the world, and then they slowly start to realize the world's not what they think it is, which is how it is for every actual teenager in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, like coming
So,
of age type thing. I
yeah,
get that, but it's like almost mixing in like this James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy color palette. I don't know, it just doesn't mix for me.
yeah.
But anyway, if you are you ready to jump into the episode?
Let's jump into the episode. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, here we go. Season 11, Episode 1, Acheron, Part 1. Daryl leads a mission. Why does it says mission team? Daryl leads a mission team to scavenge a military base he discovered. Maggie tells her story, promoting a new mission for survival that only Negan can lead. Eugene and his group go through assessment by the Commonwealth paramilitary police. Yeah,
Yep.
all of that happened in an hour.
There's a lot of these descriptions are somewhat longer than I remember.
Uh, yeah, Daryl. So yeah, the beginning of the episode, Daryl. Well, not just Daryl. Well, the
Well,
whole.
also your rating. What's your rating?
Oh, my rating. My rating for this
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
is gonna be 10 MRE rations out of 10. Out of 10. I oh for like an opening because all right, my it may be a tad bit biased there. It's not even a bias. It's a of all the shows that have ended in my lifetime, and the first episode of what you know is the final season have usually either been really confusing that go a complete different direction than you expected to go, or it was dull as all get out. But this one wasn't dull. It started off with uh, a little bit of tension, and then it raised the stakes and showing the aftermath of the Whisper War and alluding to everything else that you know this season that they're gonna have to hit head on, put the head of the hammer to that nail and drive it home.
Yeah.
So it's so all of the yeah, I feel like they hit all the notes, and then having like recently just watched the other 6 episodes, it carried over seamlessly.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, there was no time jump or any of that business that they were known for.
It just went right into it.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say 8 supercharged Daryl's blood dropped lurkers.
Oh yeah, that happened too.
Yeah. Corey Payton said they were doing a live tweet during the show airing on AMC, and he was like, he said those Daryl's blood was like Red Bull to those zombies, those lurkers.
Daryl's blood gives me wings.
Yeah, basically it was like and then all of them woke up.
They were like, "Fam, there's food in here. There's food. Where it at though?"
Yeah. There was a couple things that I didn't really care for in the episode, but overall, like I agree with you. I think it was a pretty good, compelling episode, and it pushed the story forward in compelling ways. But there are some things I would have done differently. And as far as like stylistically, I don't know. It's still got this like more stylized approach. Like even the you know how usually there's this like yellow tint, almost like a western, or this greenish hue on the screen, and it's got a brighter tone to it now, and it's like the brighter colors pop more, and like the reds are more bright red, and then like Daryl's jacket was like this bright blue, and it's just I don't know, it's different. It almost doesn't feel like the same show.
And in a way, you know, it is, but it's not, because I mean, with I understand Angela Kang's approach to
Can't
it.
watch. Sorry.
Huh? Okay, watch. I understand her approach to wanting to use the doing the way that she is. It kind of can make it a bit a show that kind of did it in a similar way, but took it even a step further because of the type of show it was Into the Badlands. So like Into the Badlands, like all the colors were dumb bright. Like they were the brightest. You name a color, you can find the brightest shade of that color in that show. But it was, but they had a different than this. I think it's just the way Angela Kang, it looks in her mind. So, what? Oh, he did the thing. He did the thing. It looks in her mind. I could say that 50 times, but I'm not. I will
Sorry,
keep talking just so there's no dead air. Huh? Hi.
okay. I'm flipping my headphones back and forth, and usually it jumps right over, but for whatever reason, it didn't jump over. I might have to end up using my actual headphones, which would suck. But anyways,
Yeah. So, but yeah. I think it because I mean the comic itself, it's in black and white, so there's no like color to it, and all the lines are like very harsh and jagged. There's not that many like smooth, silky lines, but if you're
it does
kind of
feel like more comic inspired
yeah.
now rather than like a western or the gritty realism
And,
type thing.
and then when they do action sequences, it feels like they hit just a little harder, or they're just like the choreography and all that stuff. It seems like it's a bit smoother
Hmm.
for everything. Like, oh yeah, I can use this episode. It's like I was trying to think of an episode where it was, but when they were down there, they paraline down, zip line down. No, zip lines across, parachute. They went down on the ropes.
Yeah, they just
Uh, propelled. There we go. They propelled
yeah, they
down.
rappel down.
Propelled down. Yes, and they were grabbing the supplies and everything. Then they were pulling them up and had you saw the rope up there on the thing. The thing broke. Dale grabbed it, but it lashed his arm. Blood went down. Then zombies went like, "Fam, there's food," and then they started going crazy. And then Carol saw the crate of the MREs, ran over there, started filling up her bag before zombies really got up, and then Daryl was up there just flicking knives like they were nothing, right in the zombies' heads.
Yeah.
And
Like his accuracy is insane. Like
yeah,
freaking Hawkeye of the apocalypse.
yeah, that's accurate. I was about to try to give it a different name. It's like, nope, Hawkeye and the Apocalypse. That's just old man Hawkeye. Yes. Um, but yeah, and then with the using the guns and like the whole scene was just the action was very smooth and it all worked really well.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I just wanted to hit on the title. So there's a lot of pop culture references in the title. So Acheron is a river in Greek mythology. It's a river in Hades, which is accurate, which is it connects. But it's also an actual river in Greece. But there's a couple pop culture references. So Galen Hurd is one of the executive producers, right? She was also one of the head producers on Aliens and I think Predator, maybe. No, not Predator. Terminator. So in the Alien universe, the original planet where they discovered the face huggers was referred to, like at the moment when they first found it, it was just like some numbers jumbled up, but after that point it was referred to as Acheron.
Oh.
Yeah, which is major creepy vibes. So Galen Hurd, like as far as like them building the universe out and everything, like I trust Galen Hurd. Like she's been at this for a while.
Yeah. And then the title will also play into everything that happened to everyone in this episode. I guess we'll just propel on from here. So,
one other pop culture reference. In the Conan the Barbarian universe, you say Conan or Conan?
Conan.
Okay. I used to say Conan because 80s, but then when Conan O'Brien was a thing, now it's Conan. I don't know. Anyways, maybe it's just a Southern thing. Southern white boy saying Conan.
Conan the Barbarian.
when I was a teenager, that's what I sounded like. No lie. No lie.
What happened?
I moved around,
He
lived in
said,
South
"Move and beat
Louisiana
it
and
out of me."
Brooklyn, and
Okay. Well,
so I can't remember the one of the only like full length novelizations of Conan the Barbarian. The main antagonist was an evil wizard who was from the city of Acheron, and he was resurrected by necromancy. So there's this connection to the dead that kind of runs through all these things, and it's also my next D&D barbarian character's name is Acheron.
Acheron. Okay. I mean,
Stealing that name.
what was I about to say? Yeah. So, we'll jump forward and then jump back to why this is happening. So, when they're when they go down to the subway and they see the bodies just all in that tunnel there, since Akron is a river, it's similar to the river Styx where you go into Hades with. I mean, they're going into a tunnel that is possibly going to be filled with water, and they also had the message, like similar to like forgot where the message. I forgot what the message said, but basically it's like, don't go this way, or you're going to die, type of thing.
I'm like, my anxiety level just jumped tremendously thinking about how like one of my irrational fears is drowning, right? So
yes.
like just being in a subway tunnel that is flash flooded is terrifying. But then add in all those zombies floating around, like your chances of survival just jump tremendously. Like zombies floating around in that nonsense, biting you. Oh, it's done. You're over.
Yep.
Game over, man. Game over.
Welcome to hell, literally.
Yeah, it's literally River of the Dead.
Yeah. And then you also have them being in Commonwealth and not really knowing what's about to go down. Anytime a new community that they've come across has always ended up bad, and it's never been a situation where everyone makes it out alive. So,
I mean, not to mention historically too. I mean,
yeah. So it's about to be a rough one.
About to go down.
Okay, now jump forward. Let's jump back. So after that scene and everything, a couple of more Maggie's people come in, and we find out that some more people survived. Yay! And then also they only have a week's worth of food left. Yay!
Yeah. So I have a couple questions on that, but also, so they're at Fort Connors, and that like you said, that's a direct tie-in to the last episodes where Daryl kind of came across those two soldiers where he found those MREs, right?
Yes.
So that's a nice little tie-in right there. And those episodes were good. They were like more character-based episodes, which were cool. But they weren't like big plot. I guess now tying it in, it makes sense going back. But also, so a big thing that Angela Kang pointed out is in the comics there are basically two types of walkers. There are roamers and there are lurkers. And in the show, we've had a lot of roamers, and most of the time it's just people. The zombies or walkers are just kind of roaming around doing their thing. That's the big thing with the walkers. They're called walkers. But they haven't really had a whole lot of lurkers, which is where in the comics there is a lot of that, where when the zombies just they haven't found food in a long time, they just kind of go into like almost kind of hibernation situation. And then when there's a drop of blood or a noise or sound I'm assuming these zombies can smell blood because they're on the search for food or whatever.
I think
they awaken.
I think it's less blood and more life. If it's like because I've been thinking about it for a while, all day actually, of them, because a lot of them don't have their noses and stuff anymore, and like some stuff shouldn't be working as it does, and you can chalk that up to like zombie things, but also we know that it's a virus that's doing this, but if the virus mutates to a point to where it basically becomes like a parasite within the human body, it can take over certain senses. And one of those senses could just be anything that isn't me or like alive, I should say. It's very weird to explain. But like I think the zombie woke up, like if it was rain, the zombie wouldn't have woke up. I think it woke up because it was life.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Like even viral, like because everything in life wants to survive, and it's got this drive to prolong its life and prolong its species, right?
Yeah.
Whether I don't know if viruses can be called species, but it's very common. Like even if you look at the common cold, like the reason you cough and you sneeze and stuff like that, it's so that the virus can find another host and go forward. And I mean the same thing with COVID and all this kind of stuff. And so I mean that makes perfect sense with it being virus based. And I know that like the OG zombies, like it was just a curse or the moon or you know they come out of the ground. But since the early 90s, since what was it? How many days later? 28 days
28
later.
days later?
Yeah, since then, it's been like it kind of revolutionized the zombie franchise, and now it's all virus based. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. What you're saying is that the virus kind of perpetuates the host and makes it aware of what it needs to grow and move forward.
Yes.
And just speaking of mutations and variants and all kinds of stuff, I mean, just look at COVID-19, just in the short time that it has been a thing, and how quickly it's mutated.
2 years.
And in the Walking Dead universe, like we're not even really aware of any mutations or anything like that. It's one. It's already there. It's already in everyone. So I don't know I don't know how it works. Like, does it need to mutate? Does it still? I don't know.
I mean,
it seems like that would just be a natural progression.
It would be if the virus, certain virus, what's the way to explain it? Like, if a virus is designed, and you go and mess with the genetics of how a virus is made, you can build in a trigger, in a sense. Like, something happens within the human body to make this virus kick in and actually start working. And that's only with like viruses that don't occur like they don't make themselves. But like if you like a bio weaponry, that's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah. If it's like a bio weapon, you can design whatever you're trying to infect folks with to where it only affects like pregnant people or black people, or it only affects men over the age of 45, or it only affects women under the age of 32. You can make a virus that does that. So this virus shows signs of it being made.
Yeah. I guess that makes it. And even in the comics, I think it was like an outer space virus or something. So maybe I don't know if it's got different rules, but in this universe, it does make sense that it is some sort of bioweapon.
That it affects you, but the trigger is death.
Yeah, and it might not even be like viral in the way that we understand viral.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it. We've had that conversation before because it would be nice to kind of see it grow, mutate into the animals, and because then you get into the whole.
I don't got time for zombie dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Umbrella Corporation stuff.
Yep. Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's only a week's worth of food left. That's where this started.
Yeah.
Weeks.
So also one thing I know Angela Kang said about the group was that they really got to feature the women in that fort because they dropped the women in there because they were lighter and more agile to pull up and down quicker.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, and it was kind of a nice to see like Rosita again and some of these others.
There was one girl in there I did not know who she was at all. And I was like, oh, well, I guess she's going to be the one to die because I don't know who
she's the red shirt.
So, but yeah, it was good to see that everybody made it out with no real injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else. But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like you said, they've got a week's worth of rations.
Mm-hmm.
But so there was obviously more there. Like, why didn't they just like rehash a different plan and go back? I don't understand that.
Because everybody's used to a certain way of living. And also they usually have like, I don't think they have the resources to go down and to keep fighting them like that. Because you have to think, like, if somebody's starting to go hungry, if they're going hungry, then they can't, like, because I'm pretty sure that fort isn't close, so they have to travel there. So you have to put in travel time. We don't have cars anymore. And then after that, they have to go down and then wipe out all of those zombies and then pull everybody back up. It's a lot of labor and manpower into trying to go scavenge.
Exactly why. It's because Eugene's not there. That's exactly why. Because he would have been the one to be like, let me go back and figure something out.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Eugene's not there. But where is Eugene? He's being
all Twitter-pated. That's what he is. Stephanie.
So we'll go ahead and jump over to them. They're being interrogated.
They're
being processed.
It got weird. Like, how many times a day do you go? And weird questions.
Yumiko is looking like, I'm not answering that. Why are you asking that? Do you shit? Do you have a butthole? You see up your anus?
So where are we? Who are you people?
Yep, everybody. Did Eugene say his previous job? He didn't say it, I don't think. I think they skipped over his. But
well, they were asking him about the measles shots, and he was like, "Oh, I could tell you when and where and how and all that kind of stuff."
Yeah,
like the dates and all that. Like he knew from memory, of course.
That old high school teacher was able to give them dates of everything. And then you had Yumiko, which I know they said that they're not gonna do things from the comics.
Yeah.
But
they're obviously giving her Michonne's story.
She's super about to become Michonne.
Yeah.
Michonne with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. We should have known it when they made her the lawyer with
Yeah. That's where I was like, this is about to get real familiar.
Yeah.
So, Uh, Ezekiel's still alive. I'm
Which is
pretty sure.
surprising.
Super surprising. I'm pretty sure they know he has cancer, or he's at least sick.
Yeah, and
Um,
like, why doesn't he just say something? I mean, he's got nothing to lose at this point, I guess. Unless, I don't know. Like, I don't understand how telling them he has cancer could make.
make
I don't
things
know. Just
worse,
make it. Yeah, like,
because then they might shoot him.
oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Because if it's, yeah, one of those type of places, there's like, oh, you're a liability.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or you're
I
gonna
guess that
use
makes
up a
sense.
lot of resources.
Yeah,
Come on,
just to
old
die.
Yeller.
Take him out back and cut that lump off. Be like
So,
a Fairly Odd Parents with the kids with the zit. Just start talking.
no, don't mess with me. Yeah. Um, and then
Or even better, have you seen the movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
yeah.
His head pops over like, ah! Oh my gosh.
uh,
I would love to see
Prince.
Kirk Clayton do that.
Mm. Yeah. So they, yeah, went through all that stuff. They were just trying to get the things, and then they were still trying to, get out of each of them. Where's your settlement and everything?
Mhm.
Where Eugene kept answering, but like, I would like to see Stephanie now, please.
Yeah,
So,
and as trusting as Eugene is, like, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't just tell them. I mean, I know he's smart, but he's like stupid smart. You know what I
like
mean? Like
imagination.
he's a dumb smart person.
Yes, know
So
exactly what you mean.
I don't know. So I mean, because Stephanie warned him, and he said that, Stephanie warned me that their interrogation would be pretty rough, but they mean well, and all these things. And man, he seems pretty head over heels for this Stephanie person that he's never met,
I'm
and kind of
curious if
putting.
they'll keep her of how she's supposed to be. I
Mm.
guess we'll see.
So
Um,
how is she in the comics? Is she like he thinks she is, or?
yeah, she's exactly like how she thinks she is. Like they get along very well. They don't get married, but they're in a relationship until she dies, which is after the actual comics story itself.
Mm.
Um, and she's with him when he starts, planning. We said a spoiler alert when. Well, Dylan, I don't know if I want. We fine, we fine. When he starts
Spoiler
planning a
alert
very,
for the comics and everything.
huh?
I said spoiler alert for the comics and everything.
Yes.
Because we haven't
Uh,
seen season 2, so we can't spoil that. Or
okay.
episode 2, rather.
But Eugene is going to build something that's very beneficial to all communities and this part of the country, and it will become his life's work. I'll
Hmm.
just say that. And she's along his side, but she dies a unknown death. She dies off camera.
Oh, weird.
Um, but she's supposed to be this kind of homely looking. Not really homely looking. I don't even know how to describe looks. She's an African American woman who wears glasses and really likes Eugene. And they have very like their personalities kind of mesh very well. And like I said, yeah, they're with each other till the end.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, we'll see if she's anything like her comic self.
Hopefully. I mean,
Hopefully.
yeah. Like, so yeah, they said this season. It looks like they're obviously pulling elements from the comics, but I mean, I don't know because they literally said that they're not, that they're going off script, that this is not going to be like the comic and all those things. But Like, what's changed? You know what I mean? It's like
I
they're
think
still
we're.
just remixing the comics.
I think we got to get to that point. I think there's a certain point that they can like start deviating and doing their own things, and kind of in a way they're doing it now. They're just throwing storylines on other people, but
That's what they've
yeah,
always done.
that's what they've always done. But it can always go extra sideways, extra fast, because like the end of this episode went extra sideways, extra fast.
Yeah, yeah, and that I think that's one of the big issues I had with this episode. But so anyway, so they're being interrogated, and wouldn't you know it, Princess, who has been the most unreliable person, especially in her own character episode, in the bonus episode where she's having this mental breakdown with all these things happening to her all at once. Yet and having been alone for so long, yet she is the one that is most in tune with what's going on around her,
Heck
and
yeah.
and personalities and how people work. Like, I don't know. That's I don't know. That seems like it would have been an Ezekiel thing for me. Like,
Are
he
you
would have
ready
picked
for?
up on that kind of thing.
Are you ready for this one?
Hit me with it.
So, because she's been alone for so long, and then in her bonus episode where we think, and I mean it's a TV show, so yeah, it's shot that way. But once it is revealed that she is actually talking to no one, and everything that happened was just in her head,
Hmm.
she in that time that she's known Ezekiel, Eugene, and Yumiko, she has locked in on who they are as a person down like to a T. And
Hmm.
everything that they said to her in her mind, we believe, or we would know that that's something that they would actually say or do. And not just because it's, a TV show and that's how it's written, but I think because she has like made a city into her playground and probably gave each one of those people their own personality, she's had like time to just, you know, throw out a whole bunch of puppet strings and be like, well, if this person did this, they'd probably do that. And then you just pick up on it easy.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I did kind of pick up on the way some of the characters were acting, that it was a lot more different than how they would normally act. That there were some little cues that I picked up on. Just I don't know. They didn't seem like themselves to me, and so I
Yeah.
kind of picked up on that things weren't what they appeared to be uh, during the episode. But what you're saying makes sense. Is that because she's had nobody, she latches on and she pays that much more close attention.
Yes. I think the Eugene one probably got me the most. Because even now, like, while they're actually here in Commonwealth, Eugene hasn't stopped acting like imaginary Eugene.
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
So,
Yeah,
but yes. Uh, what
yeah.
did she do?
So
Yeah.
we
Go
got
ahead.
Mercer. Well, not really the first episode with Mercer, but the first. I think it was the first episode him speaking, at least.
Did we see him in another episode?
I thought we saw him before.
No, I think this was the first time.
Hmm.
We saw, maybe. If he was, he was in the background.
Yeah, it was
I
like,
can't.
I thought it was briefly maybe, but maybe
Yeah,
I'm just thinking of the promo material.
maybe. But yeah, we got first episode of Mercer. No first name, last name only.
Yeah. Can you give us
Who
a
is
breakdown of Mercer?
so
Mercer in the
Mercer
comics?
is the guy in charge of the, I guess you can call them police, military, whatever you want to call them.
They call
The
them paramilitary, but I don't know. I don't understand the
because he's so
like
he's
paratroopers.
ex-military. He's ex-military. They train like the military, and most of them were military.
Mm,
So that's what they call them. They're basically the
yeah,
military,
yeah.
but they also act as the policing force for Commonwealth. Mercer is the head guy in charge of those, and he will be playing biggish parts throughout the rest of this season. But I won't spoil it. But yeah, so where Ezekiel was close,
Mm.
unless they change it. Of them be he'd be like, so you were probably a beat cop, and Mercer kind of gave that little like smirk, like, yeah, I wasn't a cop, because he was a Marine.
Ah,
So close, but no cigar.
yeah.
And yeah,
So
he's
the guy that plays Mercer, I can't remember his name. They talked about on the Talking Dead, like him and Princess in the comics have a relationship. Um, but he also he said that when Ezekiel said that, it kind of hurt his feelings because that is not the type of thing he's trying to put out there. He doesn't want to be. He doesn't want his. He said his country, so I guess they're calling Commonwealth a country rather than a community. But that's against everything that they're for.
yes. Their slogan. Ooh, don't quote me.
Well, didn't the guy on the show say that? The one that Princess
He
beat up?
did. Yeah, he said it, and like it's escaping my mind.
Me too.
But it's basically like, in short, it's all for one and one for all, just different words.
Yeah.
But like,
So
unless they,
it's not just a fascist police state pretending to be good, or
no,
is it?
the Commonwealth, the origin of it being created, it wasn't created by like just some folks who got together and said, all right, let's just do some good things. The folks
Hmm.
who created Commonwealth and who are in charge were folks who, back in the gap being 12 years ago, before, during the fall,
Hmm.
who were wealthy. And I don't mean just like wealthy, like, oh, they have like a nice car and a three-car garage. No, I
Yeah,
mean
like
like they can own
Bezos.
a basketball team wealthy. Like they could pay people millions to play basketball for them.
Hmm.
And so there's a coalition of them got together along with some ex-military folks, and they created this community with, then they were able to bring in other communities and everything else. And because they still had guns, certain technologies, life was normal for them because they didn't change anything. They were able to create this very gaslighty utopia. But then the moment that they run into Rick Grimes and their group, they start butting heads, and it's time for one last war.
Mm.
And that's essentially what just happens in the comics. But what was I about to say? I forgot my train of thought.
Well, you said that they were very gaslighting, so they're kind of this fascist state, huh?
Kind of. It's just it's the thing of it's not as far as like if you're against. It's not like how Negan was. If like you're against me, you just gotta die. It's
Hmm.
like if you're against us, you get a warning, and then if you're not, and if you don't fall in line and just work with us and try to like take what we have or anything like that, like from the other side of it, you could probably see them as the good guys, but they have their moments where they're not.
Mm. So basically, America.
It's the continuation of it, low key. uh, but also within Commonwealth, you kept your old job, and they want the best of society as well, which is why,
Right.
yeah,
So that's why they brought Michonne back, and she ended up becoming a judge in the comic, right?
yeah, she got her old job back as a lawyer, and then she later, yeah, became a judge.
Mm.
So
So the Commonwealth is going to be a big part going forward.
it is,
And I
especially
kind of
with.
wonder. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You say yours.
Oh, I was just saying. I wonder how that's going to play into like why they're choosing to break it up into a trilogy, like into sections
Sections.
like this, like how the story progresses, like what justifies that story wise and plot wise. I wonder.
So
Or if
it
it's
might.
just a hey, we're releasing it like this because of the pandemic and we don't know where things are going to fall. So we're
Oh,
trying to isolate the story into 3 parts.
that could be a big part of it, or it could be like each part has a timeline. Oh, snap! Hold on.
Bless you.
Ow. Thank you. Each part has a timeline of it being built, and like the seeds have already been planted, the sprouts are growing,
Mm.
and they have to wait so long to harvest. And like they last season planted all these, like they planned the Daryl Carroll story arc,
Mm.
more one for Daryl of his wife, I guess. I don't know. No one can actually get married.
Yeah, that's a whole different. That's a whole nother thing. Just talking about the Reapers, who
Yeah,
seem to be maybe the big bad in this first arc.
yeah.
I'm convinced that what's her face? Oh shoot, what's the lady where he got dog from?
I
I
forgot
cannot
her
remember
name,
her name.
but
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
her
convinced she's the leader of the.
of the
Just
Reapers.
from she's the leader of the Reapers. Just from like some of the teasers, I'm pretty sure she's the leader of the Reapers. She's Pope.
Yeah. So there's that story arc, and then once that concludes, that can be a big old giant thing, and then those characters can kind of be set into the background a little bit, but still be there for whatever comes next. Then Maggie Negan, I guess, would be a big one,
Mm. Yeah,
of how that's gonna go. And then,
yeah.
like I said,
Close up that
huh?
story arc, and then
Yeah,
then we get into the Commonwealth and moving towards the Rick movies.
yeah. And then through the whole entire season, they're building towards that last little section where it's just Commonwealth.
Mm. Yeah, maybe the last part 3 is where they're actually all at the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
Because if Alexandria falls, then they're gonna have to. I mean, where else are they gonna go?
nowhere.
Yeah. Because I mean like right now, like I mean they're trying to hold it together and I mean desperate people do desperate things and they don't think things through completely and desperate people make mistakes. And it seems like they're making a lot of mistakes as far as like things that they could do because they've been through this so many times.
Yeah,
And so I don't know. It just seems like you've got your big ones. You've got Aaron. You've some that have been there since almost the beginning. You've got Maggie, Aaron. You've got Gabriel, Rosita. Like people who know how to rebuild and know how to make this work. Who just are just kind of like throwing their hands up right now.
because I
And
feel like they've taken the biggest hit that they've ever taken.
mm,
Not only have they lost Alexandria, of it being up since for however long, even though like a wall or two may have come down or whatever, but they've also like the kingdom has completely fallen.
but that's
Uh,
been a while. I mean, like that's
it's it's been a while, but it fell mostly like after the fair,
mm,
and you had the Heads on Pikes, Whispers
the
kept.
very beginning of the Whisper arc.
That was the beginning of the Whisper arc. They had a harsh winter. Uh,
Mm.
they had to sacrifice to win. Hilltop fell. Don't know where Oceanside is. Uh,
Yeah. Speaking of, where is Oceanside? That's a good question.
Still by the ocean, I guess. Doo
Where they always been.
So, like, for them,
So, like,
and
I mean, even Oceanside, like, could they not reach out to Oceanside? And because Oceanside fishes, I mean, they live on the freaking ocean. Like,
yeah,
that's their main source of food. Like, can they not figure that out? I mean, is that not an option? Or are they just gonna, just not show their cards and keep that to the end?
yeah,
I don't know.
and everybody might be more pressed for food than we actually think they are, uh, because they're having to like spend all of their days rebuilding, and I think it's a thing of like you're burning more calories than you're taking in, and you weren't getting a lot of calories to begin with.
Yeah,
So
I get that, but and then with the animals having been chased off by the horde and all that, like I get that, but there are other options. I mean, like these people have lived on the road and eaten dogs before and worms and like they could figure things out. I mean, and then I understand. I guess I understand that they have a community. There's a lot of people they got to worry about, but I don't know. I just feel like they could figure it out.
I think what it is they could do that to scavenge and just survive, but they're trying to uh, what's the word? They're trying to get back to sustainability and
Yeah.
being stable. And Maggie coming off of what sounds like a trail of losses.
Mhm.
Uh, she,
And it's chasing her.
yeah, Anna chasing her. And now Negan's like, I don't care if you want to kill me. I'ma just live here and do what you do. She, you know,
Yeah, I've got.
she,
We can
so
talk
yeah.
about that a little bit later, but yeah, I've got some issues with all that. Uh, so okay, so yeah, so we kind of saw in the Gabriel Aaron episode
Arian.
where they went scavenging for like 2-3 weeks out looking for food and just showing how desperate it was where they've scavenged out the area like they can't find anything else, um, which is weird because they're like in the DC area. There's a lot of big cities that were, and I know and this is 12 years into the apocalypse, so I guess that makes sense. About 12 years or ish. I don't know exactly. They've been purposely vague on that. Um, well, I mean, I guess we got Judith to see when that is.
We got
Yeah,
Judith to see.
Judith is our timeline.
I guess Negan's was. I think Negan's was the furthest that we went back, and it said 12 years, and it was, yeah, 12 years.
Mm.
So
Yeah, right at the fall.
yeah,
Um, so, I mean, and also just kind of hit on, like, I am so Team Aaron and not Team Gabriel because that dude right now is like psychotic. Like that blind eye has made him a villain. I don't, it's like you could have killed that dude's brother, like, or killed that dude after,
yeah.
like, I don't know. He seems,
After talking him down, he took a mace arm to his head.
yeah, and was like, yeah, we can't bring that guy. And it's like, bro, like you just stated all the reasons why you could, and like literally, like the guy changed right in front of your eyes, and he's still, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then come find out he didn't even kill his brother.
Nope.
But yeah, I was Aaron in that moment, just like, what, Gabriel? Like this guy, the dude is gone.
Just go.
But I mean, that just kind of like goes to like Gabriel, all these leaders, like you were saying, they're all kind of like at their end of their rope right now, and they're all struggling, and they're not at their best, and so they're just kind of. I guess that's why they're all throwing their hands up.
I was looking at oh, that's right in front of me. Yes. They're all throwing their hands up in defeat, and then and because of that, you make irrational decisions. Like sometimes when you're desperate for a win, you'll do anything to get to that win, even if it means risking everything that you already have. Trust me, I know. I've played Civilization.
I play life.
I play life. It happens.
That makes perfect sense. You're desperate for a win, and then you've got Maggie coming back in, and then just kind of throwing a wrench into everything, and she's not the same Maggie at all. Like she is, she's decisive and a lot more selfish, and
she's as Negan said, a dictator.
Yeah, I mean, I wore a different Walking Dead shirt today, but I had to go change into my Negan shirt because dude was right. I mean, I gotta be Team Negan on this. As much as I love Maggie and could not wait for her to return, I'm not a fan of this Maggie. Like, Lauren Cohen is bae, but I mean, this Maggie, man, like, I understand she's been through it and she's been burned over and over and over again, but man, like, you are becoming the thing you hate, woman.
Yeah. She really is.
And she's I'm not saying she doesn't have a good reason. She's got a lot of good reasons to become that bitter type of person. She's got a lot of reasons. And a lot of reasons to hate Negan and all that kind of stuff. But even like, so on The Talking Dead, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was talking about how this episode just kind of threw him for a loop because that last moment where, so Daryl, so he looks at Maggie and just outright leaves her. And so I did, like, that moment right there, I was just like, screw that. That ain't. They just all the work they've done, and that's literally what Jeffrey Dean Morgan said. Is when he read the script, he called Angela Kang and was like, "Look, we can't do that. We can't do that. Like, everything that they've worked for, all the work that they've done with Negan is just out the window now. Like,
yep.
All this work that he's put in." He just doesn't. He throws it out the window right there.
Throws it out the window, becomes Scar.
Yeah, and even before that, so Chris Hardwick asked, like, okay, well, why would Negan invoke Glenn's name to Maggie and not just invoke his name, but say that he was killed, like put down like a dog, like, I mean, like, it was just so calloused and like old Negan for him to say that, you know what I mean? To say that to her. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was like, well, that was call number 2. And he said that he had kind of talked to all the different cast members and was like, why we can't do this? Like, why would we do this? You know, this is really just kind of like taking a huge step backwards on this character. And he said he kind of, when he saw it happen, he kind of was glad that Angela Kang went with that decision because it kind of propels the story forward and adds a lot more places for them to go with Negan and Maggie and all that kind of stuff. But and that in that moment he is also convinced that based on the way that Maggie's acting, that she is looking for a moment to kill him. That's all she wants. Like, she dragged him out here just to find a moment to kill him. Like, she doesn't need him at all. She's just looking for an opportunity. And he kind of feels like everybody else is kind of in on it too because of the way Daryl kind of turned on him too. There it was like, oh, you think we're friends? It was like Daryl is it's like high school all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the dude just freaking saved your community
to defeat a giant and put a knife in his head.
Yeah.
And now you acting like, all right, okay, whatever.
It's like, my old girl's back. I gotta impress her, so I'm gonna kick you while you're down to make her feel like I'm on her team. Like,
and with Negan feeling, feeling like he's just coming out here to die, and they need him as a guide to the city. Quotations around every word, yes. Need him as a guide to the city. Well, he might as well say his piece if he's about to get a piece to the dome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and from that angle, I get it. I understand why he, like, if that's how he's feeling about it, I understand why he would just like, well, screw you, I'm not helping you, you know. But before that, I was kind of upset about that.
Yes, I completely understand, but the little jabs he was throwing in there, I was like, and he was like completely. He had told them. He openly said, "I'm completely against going this way. There are literally 3 signs and an actual sign of why we shouldn't keep going this way."
Yeah, and there's bodies everywhere, and it's like he was the only voice of reason the entire time. It's like, I get it, he's Negan, and it was like everybody took on Maggie's offense in that moment. It was just like, look, this dude has earned his way back at this point. Like, I mean, we're talking about like 2 seasons of work with this guy.
Yeah. But they're just thrown to the wayside.
Yeah.
A little bit, but we'll see
even
how.
Even the last time Maggie saw him, he was so pitiful that she couldn't even kill him. So I mean, I don't know. It's like, I get that image is seared into your brain. I get that, but at the same time,
it's been years.
Man, like the last time you saw him, he was so pathetic you couldn't kill him, and now you see him making an effort, and all you can think about is,
fuck that guy.
I guess I can kill him now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. So,
but I mean, I get that she's dealing with it. I get that. I mean, ain't no taking what he did back. You know, ain't no taking that back. And it didn't help that he straight up said Glenn got put down like a dog.
Didn't help at all.
That was such a stupid thing for him to say.
He thought he was gonna die anyways. It's like, I might as well say it. See what happens.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna put me down like a dog? I'm gonna act like a dog and bite the hand that feeds me.
So, but then that ultimately leads to a moment where a zombie horde from the subway.
Yeah, lurkers. More lurkers.
Who were like, oh, there's food down here. Let's go get some.
Mm-hmm.
And because they
they didn't move or settle or anything because they said that their throats were basically cut all the way through.
Yeah.
So
that's terrifying. First off, that's extra terrifying. So they come up to the guys that had the extra ammo and the extra food and lights and all that stuff. Dipped. They said, peace, we'll take ammo and lights, goodbye.
You got Negan, the bad guy, hanging out and speaking reason and saying, okay, we're going to do what you want anyway, but I'm calling it out. Like, he's going along with it, doing what you ask, but your old guys tuck and run and steal all your shit, and you're still mad at Negan? I don't get it. Still mad at Negan. Like,
if it wasn't for him,
man. He's an underdog. I'm rooting for Negan this season.
I'm rooting for Negan. Yes. So it's the Negan You Can Make It Club. But yeah, everybody. Dog runs away. Daryl goes after Dog, and they disappear under the train. Everybody starts climbing up to get inside the car. Called the train cabin car.
Yeah,
Whatever it's gonna call
subway
cars.
car.
And Negan goes up, looks at Maggie. Maggie's like, I don't know what to do. I forgot how to do things. Should I shoot an
Yeah, I
arrow?
forgot
Should
how
I
to
not?
climb. Yeah, like badass Maggie that's fought off everything in the world is suddenly this helpless little girl.
I think what it was, it gave that look of like helpless little girl, most deaf. But I think what it actually was is like, I have been wrong, and I think Negan was right. And that shattering realization
Hmm.
all culminated in that look.
Yeah, and so Paola, I forget her last name, that plays Princess, was on The Talking Dead, and she said that. She said that very thing that she kind of agreed with Negan, is that Maggie needed to be shaken up, but she didn't think that Negan should have straight up just left her. Like, he should have hesitated just long enough for her to know that I could have left you, but I chose not to. Like,
But he did anyway.
I know, it's like, I know, so I guess that's why I didn't understand it. It's like, he could have, like, straight up, like, shown her, like, that's his moment to show her that I'm not who you think I am anymore. And he chose, I don't know, he chose wrong, man. He chose wrong.
He chose to say,
And if Daryl comes out from under that train and saves her ass, because you know she's in the season still, she ain't dying. So Daryl's coming out from under that train and it's going to save her ass, and he's going to know exactly what Negan did, and it's going to give him more excuse, and it's just going to be like Mean Girls all over again.
yep. Negan straight up looked at her for a long time. She went, Negan! And he went,
I know. I mean, she made her own bed, but at the same time, like, Negan is making his own bed. He's making it worse.
Yep.
Like, dude,
So,
you just shot yourself in the foot with Daryl's crossbow, is what you just did.
big time. So we'll see how this turns out. What happens to
Yeah, like, there's like, in what way does he think this is gonna work out for him? Like, he just went back to Pettytown. It was like, you know what, I'm gonna die anyway. Screw you, everybody die. It's like, at that point, why don't you just start slitting throats, bro? It's like, if you're gonna be like that, like, it's so passive aggressive. That I don't think that's Negan. Negan has always been very, very upfront with things. I don't know. I don't like this passive aggressive.
He's older. He burned
I'm just
Lucille.
gonna pretend that I don't know what happened. I don't know. She was behind me. It's like, come on. In what world do you think this is gonna work out in your favor, man?
It's probably not.
He's
Hold on.
smarter than that. You good?
Yes.
What happened?
I got a very strange text message.
Oh. Is your wife threatening you to be done? Wrap it up.
Yes and no.
Yeah, we've been talking for a little while. It's
Okay.
yeah. So
That was the end of the episode, actually.
Yeah, that was the end of it. As far as, like, where it's going, I think, excuse me, we kind of hit on that as we were talking. So, I mean, we saw on The Talking Dead there was a teaser for next week, and basically, we didn't talk about Yumiko. She saw her brother's note on the board of survivors. Is the board of survivors isn't that what it's called, or something like that?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Okay. So sees her brother's name up there, and that to me also seemed kind of contrived because Princess, like they were all looking at it, and Princess is like, oh, there's Miko. That must be Yumiko. That must be this Yumiko. That's you, right? It's like there's no photos. Like it could be Miko, could be anybody, anything. I don't know. And then she sees it, and of course, and like, did Princess even say like, "Hey, that's your brother"? Like, how would she know
sister.
that?
I don't know.
Or sister or something. Like, how would she know that? I don't know.
Lucky guess. Racism.
Like, I could get it. Like, if there was like a picture, and they just overlooked it, and they weren't looking at it, and she missed that. I could get that, but I don't know. I just the whole like, oh, there's a note and there's a name. You know what I mean? Like, if I was looking at a board like that and it had the word Dylan, like a name Dylan up there, I wouldn't assume that that was me. Or you know, if I saw Quin, I wouldn't assume that that's you. You know, because I mean, it's a name.
How many Quins do you know, though?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, my son's middle name's Quin.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, we don't live in, it's not D.C. metro area either. It's not, you know, hundreds upon thousands of people.
Yeah. About her brother. Okay. Yeah. All right.
But
I so in that.
Huh?
So I have nothing else on the Yumiko thing. I forgot about it. Slightly.
So in the teaser for next week, we see Yumiko, and oh yeah, so they stole their clothes. Apparently, they were looking for that moment, and they knew right when to go in because they took their clothes off and they stole them or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they immediately jumped into that and didn't kind of show any of that. So in this teaser, they have snuck back in and gotten their clothes back to them. Apparently, nobody knows that they stole their clothes and stuck out and they got back in, which is weird in itself, especially if they don't show how they did it. So they're sitting, it's Princess and Yumiko sitting, and they're talking about what they're going to do and how they're going to figure this out or whatever. And then Eugene comes in out of nowhere and is freaking out. Is like, oh, I'm so nervous. And he's very much old, like imaginary Eugene, like you mentioned before. And
yes.
And Yumiko goes up to one of the guards and like demands to be expedited the process, and it's like, I need to get out of here. You need to da-da-da. And she's like, there's nothing. She's like, oh, you can't help me? Let me speak to the higher up. And she's like, you want to talk to my supervisor? So she straight up Karen'd the guard and was like, let me talk to your supervisor. And I don't know if it's, I mean, she's a lawyer. I guess she knows how to like talk around people or something. I don't know. But somehow they're going to make it work and get through this, and I don't know.
It'll work out.
Of course
it'll work out. I'm backed up too far. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So either a lot of people are going to die or a couple people are going to die that we care about. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. You think a lot of people? 2 people?
I think
exactly.
2 people are going to die.
It's very specific. Do you know something we don't know?
I mean, we know 2 people are safe. That's just a given.
2 people are what?
2 people are safe.
Oh, Carol and Daryl. Yeah.
Carol and Daryl, they're safe.
Yeah, they got the plot armor like nobody's business now.
Their plot armor is so thick, a bad guy looks at them and instantly disintegrates. Oh, dang. I don't think Negan will die. If he does, it'll be his final redemption. Like, that will be, like, the moment of, like, where Negan is, like, a hero in everyone's eyes, which would be really neat, but we'll see. None of the kids are going to die because they have to age up and be in the epilogue. Maggie might die. We'll see. Oh, well.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
It's hard to say.
hard to say.
I really want Aaron to survive. Before I really wanted Maggie to come back and be the leader and everything, but at this point it's like, man, I'm not convinced I like this Maggie at all.
Understandable. She's not the successor Rick would have had in mind.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so.
And so hopefully we actually see Rick and Michonne again. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the show is a shell of what it used to be, because all these people, because I don't know, because you've got, I mean, yeah, Rick and Carl were the heart of the show, but then we had new people like Michonne come in, and Maggie, and Daryl, and Carol, and I mean, who have been there quite a while, yeah, but they were the heart of the show. Like, who's the heart of the show anymore? Like, not even Gabriel is the heart of the show. Like, nobody is the heart of the show right now. Like, nobody's the Herschel. Nobody is that character right now. Nobody is keeping hope alive and pushing people forward. Everybody's just their worst versions right now.
We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the secret story arc. Finding hope.
But yeah, I feel like that's why the show is a shell of itself right now, because nobody has stepped up like that. Nobody has filled that leadership role and just become like this lovable character, like that, where Glenn, you know, like, was very possibly one of the, aside from Rick, the best character on the show. And I know people are like so pro Daryl and everything, but I don't know. I've kind of fallen in and out with Daryl.
Daryl's very quick to give away power. Very quick to say.
Yeah, because he doesn't want it. Like, yeah. Like, they would have to make him into a different character to make him the leader. Like, he doesn't. He's a very reluctant leader. He doesn't want to be the leader.
Yeah.
And that takes like, what are you going to do? Make somebody else the Han Solo of the group? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, he even wears a vest. Come on.
Oh.
He's the reluctant douchebag.
All right.
So that's all I got. He's even got his own Chewbacca. He is Han Solo. I just decided that.
He uses Chewbacca's crossbow because Chewbacca doesn't have thumbs.
Yeah, and Dog is his Chewbacca.
Dog is his Chewbacca. Yes. All right. We got the next on The Walking Dead. I'll save the voice for next week. But so next on The Walking Dead, episode 11. No, season 11, episode 2. Acheron, part 2. Maggie's mission takes the team through the subway tunnel, challenged by lurking walkers and a, what is that word?
Recalcitrant?
Recalcitrant Negan? A recalcitrant?
I'm not as well read as I'd like to be.
What does that
I'm going to look it up while you're reading.
Recalcitrant Negan. With Eugene's group, Yumiko seeks answers about her brother and demands expedited processing into Commonwealth.
So recalcitrant, it says, having an obstinately uncooperative attitude towards authority or discipline.
Why don't they just say asshole? And an asshole Negan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very Negan. Like, I mean,
very Negan. All right. Oh yeah, they gotta do the outro. I'm looking like, what is this? It's the outro.
Oh yeah. All right. So thank you guys for joining us, for watching, hanging out with us. We hope that you'll join us live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch next Sunday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
So that you know when we drop a new video, when we go live. And podcast listeners, I have not forgot about you. And also, check out the website at www.broken.pictures.com. And this is Dylan.
I'm Quinn.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.